Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out on this short court. But it's no holds barred, middle fingers like I'm Stone Cold.
What is up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Slapping Me Wrestling Podcast. I'm WeTooDeep, that's DJWAVYD. And just like always, just here to remind you, go to the first link in the description. Click that page. It'll take you to the WWE shop. You can get you some merch. It will give us a little bit of a percentage back. You can get the new Dakota Kai shirt, which I just received in the mail today.
Yes, sir.
The OTC shirt for Roman Reigns. There's so many new shirts every week that come out. Trying to think of who has a new one. I know Gunther has one, but no one buying that. No one buying that Gunther shirt. But go get your favorite merch, your belts, side plates, all of that through that link there, and support the podcast, as well as the Discord link down there as well. We're going to dive on in back to another Let's Get Cooking. We're going to finish out this little series we've been doing with picking 5 men, 5 women from the main roster WWE. This one was a little bit tough for me. I'm going to start with Wavy D here. We'll start with the men. Who's your first pick?
All right. What's going on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcast? Shout out to everybody listening worldwide, nationwide. It's your boy Wavy D in the building, aka the Hulk of YouTube. We out here in this bitch. Let's see. With my first pick. So since the WWE roster is big enough, we doing this like if I take person, you can't take them, or who's just your top 5?
We'll keep it consistent. Just top 5.
Yeah. All right. So if I have my pick of the litter and I could take anybody in WWE, my first overall pick for the men, because it doesn't count NXT, it's strictly main roster.
Right.
I am taking Braun Breaker. I feel like he's a very safe number 1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. He's young. He has a moveset. He's agile and strong. He can do storyline stuff. He can talk enough. And he got that raspiness to him and that toughness to him. What I'm saying? So I'm taking Braun Breaker. I feel like he's a jack of many trades. He's very well rounded.
Okay.
Give me that boy.
So Braun's good. I like him. We'll get to him and eventually down my list. He's not number 1. My number 1 is Drew McIntyre. I need that vet who is also still, relevant today. I personally think Drew McIntyre, from a overall wrestling standpoint, may be the best in the business right now. And so I'm taking me Drew McIntyre. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 pick to star at the Wavy D Wrestling Entertainment Association of America is Chad Gable.
Okay.
Chad Gable, great wrestler. Again, he can talk and he gets you through a story. He can be a top face, a top heel. He can be whatever you need him to be. He can get anything over. Okay, he's been getting stuff over his whole career. So give me Chad Gable.
Yeah. My number 2 will be it'd be Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker will be my number 2. I need that youth. That everything you said about him, he's young. I can get 20 years out of him. And so it'll be Braun Breaker. Who's your number 3?
My number 3. Oh, let me double check his age real fast. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take him either way, but let me just check his age real fast. Okay, I'll probably get another. Oh, I didn't realize he was at that old, but I'll probably get another 7 years out of this guy. Give me the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. All right, everybody
Mm,
needs that white meat
mm,
baby face. And
right.
also, I feel like Cody could play the heel given the right circumstance. You know what I'm saying? He could talk the talk, whether it be about his, his dead pappy or other stuff. I feel like Cody Rhodes could connect with the fans.
Mm,
He has a large connection with the fans. His stories aren't the best right now. His opponents aren't the best right now. But I feel like he's just waiting for to turn the corner at like War Games, and then going into Mania season, he's gonna be cooking again. Must see TV. Give me Cody Rhodes, man. The
mm,
franchise of the franchise.
mm. My number 3 is going to be Dominic Mysterio.
Mm.
As you can tell, I'm building a heel centric roster here. And so but I also think I feel like if they did this right, and if we booked Dom right, he could play that baby face because everyone loves Dom. It's just the Judgment Day part of his character. Like I feel like there's a way you can make him the victim in the story and get people behind him. And so yeah, Dominic Mysterio's number 3. Who's your number 4?
All right. My number 4 is also Sir Dominic Mysterio. All right. Um, Everything you said. Yeah, he's the most hated man in wrestling right now,
Mm.
outside Tony Khan. Dominic is that boy. We can get another 30 years out of him, but I feel like he might. I don't think Dominic's gonna have the longest career. Honestly, I think we
Right.
might get 15 years max out of him because I think he's gonna want to be a family man.
Yeah.
And, so he got the wife, his high school sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't have to stay around to make as much money as his dad did.
Right.
His dad, started wrestling when it was
Like
paying
14. Yeah.
little to nothing. And of course, he ran into money, but then he also became like one of the biggest names in wrestling, so you can't really walk away from that. Where I feel like Dom, even though he likes wrestling, he strikes me as a person who isn't gonna not be able to walk in the future.
Right.
I feel like he's gonna walk away from wrestling before his body pays like the ultimate sacrifices.
Mm.
Because again, he also is a safe worker. He's someone like the Miz, very
Right.
safe workers. They don't do anything that I don't think they can do or do consistently. So Dominic strikes me as a guy who will probably put in 15 years, and then he might make appearances here and there in the future. But I think he's gonna do a solid 15, be happy with his career,
Mm.
and he's gonna go enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Mm. Yeah. My number 4 is going to be. I'm between 2 people. I want another vet, and I'm between 3. It's either Orton, Owens, or Punk, and I think I'm going to go with Owens. I think he's more universal. I can use Owens as a good guy or a bad guy. Whereas for me, Orton's the best when he's a bad guy. Punk is the best when he's a bad guy. And so I'm picking Owens for number 4. Who's your number 5?
My number 5 will probably surprise a lot of you guys. All right, I'm usually a man who likes to go with tag teams. Getting more bang for my buck. But for this men's portion of the draft, I'm gonna stick to the straight and narrow. I'm gonna take a single wrestler. All right. So with the surprise of the night, give me the 39-year-old Baron Corbin.
Okay.
Baron Corbin, solid worker. He's a safe worker.
He's safe.
He can work with anybody.
He's trustworthy. He's not gonna. He doesn't have an ego on him.
Exactly.
I like that pick. I like that pick.
He's a company man.
Mm.
He can make any gimmick work like he does. He can make trash work. I need wrestlers who anybody can be great when you're given the fucking secret golden formula. But,
Right.
but who can be great when you're working in the chum bucket? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Baron Corbin is another one of those guys who just makes stuff work. Okay.
Mm.
And he could. I think he could do a little bit of face work, but he's his best as a heel.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna need someone to go at Cody. I'm gonna imagine Cody Rhodes and Baron Corbin in a nice feud. and then where you got Braun Breaker and Dominic Mysterio waiting in the wings with a Chad Gable throw in the mix. Like that right there is a solid 5 people to start your company with.
My number 5 is, it's not a whole tag team. I'm splitting them up, and it's Montez Ford. This dude singles run. This dude is just athletic. He has the ability to be a high flyer without all the random flippiness and circus act that comes with what most people try to do. And he's athletic. He's strong. He's a very good talker, and I mean, we saw what he could do in that little spurt he had at Elimination Chamber by himself a few years ago. So let's move on to the women's side. Who's your first woman you would take?
The first woman I am taking to start my roster. I mean, I know she's a little bit on the older side, but I think she still has some great years ahead of her. Because believe it or not, she's older than her husband. But give me Bianca Belair.
You and me are on the same page. Bianca Belair has to be number 1. I think she's the best. I'll say it, the best women's wrestler in wrestling right now.
Correct.
She's not in a major storyline. She's not in, but she's Nerdy D likes to talk about. You have your peaks and you have your lows. She's in the low right now, but she's in the process of building the next big superstar. And with Jade, and that feud when they split is going to be money. And so yeah, it's got to be Bianca. Who's number 2 for you?
Number 2, Rhea Bloody Ripley. You know what I'm saying? So the 2 best women in all of wrestling, Bianca Belair.
Y'all gonna hate me. I don't have Rhea on this list.
Yo, Rhea has to be on your list.
Number 2.
Rhea herself is only 27. We the same age as her.
I know. But we'll get the age. We'll get the youth somewhere else. I'm surrounding this part of my roster with some veteran. That we got Bianca. I'm putting Charlotte right next to her.
I feel like you could have Charlotte later in the draft. I feel like Charlotte. I feel like if we were doing like I take one person, you take person. I feel like Charlotte's available around 4 or 5.
Who's number 3 for you?
Let's see. So why would you take a Charlotte over a Rhea right now?
I just, from a name perspective, I think the Flair name means more to a casual audience. And I'm looking at this from, I'm going to get my youth somewhere else. I like Rhea. I just personally, the way she's presented right now, I don't necessarily know outside of like I'll just go ahead and say it, the goth gimmick just doesn't work. I don't believe. I think the reason that she's beloved as she is right now is because she's playing into 2 separate gimmicks, and let's just be honest, she is kind of attractive. But I think if I would have to play into that goth gimmick, and there's not much of my other 4 that I'm going to pick that would really play against that. I just feel it's really hard to also market her because from a mainstream capacity, still a lot of, if you look at the age of wrestling fans, you're looking at like 25 to 60, and that the older generation still doesn't understand sort of her gimmick, and I think it's hard to market that to them and to get them into the seats. So I'm looking at it from a pure like money perspective. She's definitely the second best in wrestling. I don't think I necessarily need Bianca and Rhea on the same roster. I think it's part of the reason why they split those 2, Raw and SmackDown. Is having them both on the same roster sort of clouds the rest of the women's roster because of eventually you get too much star power. And so Charlotte, I feel, is veteran enough to while she is a name and she has star power, I don't necessarily. It's one of those things where she'll run 2 or 3 stories with me, and then I can get rid of her and build my next pick, which we'll get to in a minute.
I'm just saying, if you don't got Bianca and Rhea, who's gonna main event night 5 of the Wavy Wrestle Dream Kingdom All Out Mania Season 5? All right, who's gonna main event night 5 of that?
That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? We run in 5 pay-per-views in 6 weeks. Okay.
All right, who's pick 3?
Pick 3. So I got Bianca. I got Rhea. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need a little. They're both big, strong, powerful women. I'm gonna need someone kind of, huh?
I was gonna say, if you're picking who I think you're about to pick,
Nia Jax. No, saying they're both big, strong, powerful women. You know what I'm saying? And if this draft was a little bit deeper, maybe around like pick 9 or 10,
right?
I picked Zoe Stark, but we're not quite there yet.
Thank God you're not picking her.
So, but I will go with a wrestler who a lot of people might not see as very versatile or well versed, but this wrestler can wrestle with divas, can wrestle with superstars, and can wrestle with wrestlers, even some of the most hardcore of hardcore women's wrestlers.
Mm.
And she can still be on the cover of Playboy. I'm taking Chelsea Green.
Okay.
Yeah, she could do hardcore death matches where her husband Matt Cardona, or she go out there wrestle a 2-minute squash match and make it entertaining against Lay Cool. All right, Chelsea Green is just pure fucking entertainment. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
As you'll see when you watch NXT back later after this, her versus Julia. All right, it might have been the longest match, but it was a great match.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a good squash match. Triple H.
It wasn't a squash match. It wasn't even a squash. Chelsea held her own.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take your word for it. My number, what are we on, 3? So I got Bianca. We need her to hold that belt down while I'm building the next champion, and I'm building that next champion with Charlotte Flair being the big name draw for my young, youthful Tiffany Stratton. Because when I talk about the same reasons I wouldn't pick Rhea, the same reasons I would pick Tiffany. She's marketable. I can sell her to the 55, 60-year-olders. I can put her on posters. I do think, though, Tiffany's, I think, in a similar boat as you described Dom. I don't think it's like 5 years and she's out, but I do think she's going to go 10, 15 years max. And then she's dipping. She's probably going to go 2-3 more WWE contracts. Probably try to get that record or get a movie deal. And she's out of here. So I gotta get the goods while she's still here. And she's going to be the centerpiece of what I build with my roster. Who's pick 4 for you?
All right. I'm gonna try you pick 4 without getting the show canceled, okay?
All
right. You know what I'm saying? You can't cancel those who don't give a fuck. But
right.
You know what I'm saying? For as far as our pockets are concerned, you know what I'm saying? I'm try to get us all get this canceled, okay? So, your job at building a roster is you gotta appeal to a lot of different markets, okay? A lot of different groups of people, a lot of different niches, okay? We got Bianca Belair. We got Chelsea Green, Rhea Ripley. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, they kind of overlap in some certain marketplaces. You know what I'm saying? But who do you need to get to bring in the black demographic, okay? Who do you need to bring in the black demographic? Especially the black demographic of the major cities of the world, as some might say. The big cities. You know what I'm saying? The inside of the cities, as some might say. You know what I'm saying? The inner city black youth, all right? And actually, the inner city black OGs, okay? All right, we got to get Piper Niven on this roster.
Stop it.
Piper Niven on this roster. We got to get Piper Niven up here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing more than a black OG love than a big white girl, all right? All right. comment section, Discord. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Oh,
Okay?
Jesus Christ.
Tell me when I'm telling lies. You know what I'm saying? You know, of course, as black men, we love our Bianca Belairs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We love our Bianca Belairs. But we also enjoy our Piper Nivens. Okay? Piper Niven, not only does she appeal to a marketplace, okay? To a very undervalued part of the marketplace. But she can also wrestle. She's a great wrestler. Great wrestler. All right. She was an indie darling. Okay. Her accent, amazing accent. All right. She can play second fiddle to Chelsea Green, and we can continue that great TV chemistry. And guess what? All good things come to an end, which means we're gonna get Chelsea Green versus Piper Niven in a storyline. If you come watch Wavy D wrestling, all right. So
I feel secretly down in Wavy D's heart, Piper Niffin's number one on his baddies list, and he's not going to admit it.
No, she's not. Zoe Stark. I got you, Zoe Stark. Oscar, you still up there somewhere?
My number 4. Well, let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way. It's Dakota Kai.
Okay.
She's for the most part safe unless she's wrestling herself, and then she has no knees anymore. But you know, I could put her in the ring. We gotta book her smart and make sure she's not doing crazy shit. Yeah. So, but she can talk. She's underrated in her promo ability. Yeah, just overall, my favorite on the roster. Just gonna be biased here, 100%. But who's your number 5?
All right. So, as some of y'all might know this, when it comes to Wavy D and who he selects for his team, all right, for his roster, we are selecting a lot of bigger, stronger, more powerful women, right?
Right.
Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Piper Niven. You know what I'm saying? Even Chelsea Green is a little bit on the tall side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the reason we draft this way, okay, is because you can't teach height. You can't teach size.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys might want me to pick a Liv Morgan. Well, guess what? You could walk into a Hooters and find Liv Morgan. Because guess what? That's where WWE found her.
Right.
Was at Hooters. Okay,
right.
That's where they found her, legit.
There's
she
8 of
herself.
them. There's 8 of them at the bar down the street. Go walk down there.
Exactly. All right. If you want you a Tiffany Stratton like WeTooDeep does, guess what? Just go to your state's college, okay? Just go to the college. You go do some recruiting at college, okay? Go hit HBK and check his DMs.
That works for Mr. Michaels. He be cooking.
Yeah, go HBK and slide his DMs and go see his DMs. That man got recruits up the wazoo, okay? Well, guess what? I could sign all of them in free agency. I could sign them, okay? It's easy. But if we're drafted and I'm taking stuff that you can't teach, okay? I'm taking Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Rodriguez, whatever you want to call her. I'm taking Raquel. I
almost forgot she existed.
I'm taking baby got back on her back, okay? I'm taking look at my shoulders, okay? I'm taking Miss I got delts on my delts and my shoulders on my back and my shit go I'm taking Ox back. I'm taking the creator of Big Back, okay? My team is full of big backs, all right? We got a literal big back. And you know what I'm saying? Hey, shoot, all we need is right back on commentary, okay?
Right back. Carol not gonna like that one.
So we got Bianca Belair, we got Rhea Ripley, we got Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez, however you want to refer to her. You know what I'm saying? We got the big hitters, okay? We got the main eventers of WrestleMania this year, and then we got some people who need their shine. All right, so you want variety in your wrestling. If you don't want this every man's top 5, you know what I'm saying? Every ordinary Joe's top 5, come see your boy Wavy D. All right.
All right, my number 5. Y'all see my roster. We got Tiffy, we got Dakota, we got Bianca. We got Charlotte. Let's just go ahead and continue this. And it's a little. Some may say this is a weak pick, but I see potential in this pick right here.
Can I guess it?
Go ahead.
Lyra Valkyria?
It's not Lyra Valkyria. It's on the complete opposite spectrum of Lyra Valkyria.
Blair Davenport.
Absolutely not. So Lyra, Lyra's a little bit vertically challenged, shall we say? She's a little bit small, fun size, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But she walks like she's the size of Raquel.
Right. No, we're taking the queen of the Alpha Academy, Maxine Dupree.
Okay.
Taking Maxine Dupree here with pick 5. Underrated, pretty decent talker, getting better in the ring. I can make something work here with Maxine. But now the fun is over. Let's get down to business. We got some rumors for Smackdown starting this Friday. With the first one being this might be 3 hours, and I feel like they've listened to you. Make SmackDown 3 hours.
I've been told you that. I've been saying that.
Because we know, and a lot of people are like, well, no, just keep it 2. Well, no, an hour goes to the Bloodline, so you need to remake that hour up to give the mid card. Now the mid card's gonna have a chance to shine if this is actually a 3-hour show. In response to that, we've been announced that starting in October, Raw is 2 hours. What's your thoughts on this one?
So it makes sense because they're switching over to Netflix, and this is just kind of like more of like a handshake deal because their deal runs out in October,
right?
And they're gonna need to air their show somewhere. So just doing 2 hours of to get through the rest of the year, heading into Mania season. You know what I'm saying? Cody and the Bloodline, all of them will run SmackDown, so at least they get more time, which means the show gets more time, and then Raw can cut a little bit of the fat around the edges,
right?
And then they can head into the New Year strong, head to Netflix strong, and 2 hours should be fine. Hopefully, we don't get 3 hours worth of commercial breaks in our 2 hours,
right?
But 2 hours should be good.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Like you said, I don't think people realize that this October deal for Raw it's a handshake deal. Hey, we're just going to be nice to you. That your old contract ends September 30th, so we'll cover the rest of the year. We'll pay you a decent amount to have it. And by the way, we don't have enough time for you to do 3 hours no more, which I think it's fine. I think it's also a test to see will 2 hours work on Netflix. The cool thing with Netflix is it allows them to do a 2 hour show 1 week, a 3 hour show the next week, 2.5 hour show 1 week. They don't have to depend on network timing, and they can just go in there, tell their stories. Theoretically, if they wanted to, they could do like an hour-long episode. But I think that would piss some people off. So I think that 2 hour mark is the sweet spot there for Raw. Then the final rumor coming in the SmackDown that we might see the fist on the set.
I'm happy for that.
In my childhood, just will come back to life here if this happens. So let's definitely make that a reality. While we're at it, can we get a decent theme song for these things and quit having Def Rebel fucking make these things? But that's a whole different story. Let's move in. How much of Raw did you watch? Did you go back and watch Raw?
Yes, okay. I got the gist of everything and watched everything. Besides for the Fatal 4-Way match, I didn't feel like watching the full match yet. I just know that Jey Uso won. But right. I watched everything leading up to that. And then I know Finn Balor injured Rey Mysterio. I watched that match, but I watched all the promo stuff. I watched the Drew and Wade Barrett and the Adam Pearce announcing Hell in a Cell, all that stuff.
Right. So let's start off the night. Well, I'll preface this. When I watch Raw, I look for about 4 to 5 segments because not everything is going to hit in this show. I look for about 4 to 5 segments that if I can get 4 really good segments, it's a good Raw. We start the show. I'm trying to think about what started it. It was the Wyatts. The greatest thing on Raw, I think, this week, which is crazy coming out of my mouth. The biggest Wyatt hater in the group. I think the Wyatts did their shit. They had a whole 30, 40-minute match, commercial free. And I think they did a decent enough job. This is, sort of what Nerdy D was talking about, where he said where you put them in a place where there's no rules, they kind of work. I do have questions, though. What's next? Are we done jobbing American Made? Because there's some potential there, and it looked like you put a lot of money and time and resources into branding the team. Can we build something with them instead of just having them lose all the time? But what's next with the Wyatts? Do you have any? What would you think? What did you think about the Wyatts? Where do you think they head from here?
Honestly, I don't know where it head next to the Wyatts because I only saw the highlight of the match, so I didn't see the full 30, 40 minutes. I saw like a 4-minute like a 4-minute clip up on YouTube. As far as who to feud with next, the point is, the thing is, for so many weeks, they left me not really caring.
Right.
That now that we're at the point where their feud is probably most likely done with American Made, it's like, who do they go after next? Maybe Judgment Day. Saying turn their backs on the Terror Twins and even R-Truth.
Right.
I doubt they feud with Jay or Sammy or maybe Gunther and Kaiser, but I don't want them anywhere near the world title picture because they turn their back on Giovanni.
Speaking of that, now you mentioned Giovanni. That man gets 2 weeks of promos to get fucking beat in like 2 seconds.
As far as the character building, you gotta let it develop. You gotta let it cook.
Yeah, I feel that. But here's the thing: he's playing the same character he played before he got caught up from NXT, and it sucked down there. So, I hope it's good. I kind of hate that they broke him up again, but yeah. After that, the next big thing I really want to talk about is, and I'm going to expand on this a little bit deeper on Friday's episode, and that is Gunther. Gunther's promo against Bret Hart. I can't tell you. I've been sitting here for weeks trying to defend Gunther to you guys. I can't defend this weak ass performance. Grabbing the low fruit, talking about Bill Goldberg as if that's supposed to piss Bret Hart off. I don't know. The IWC seemed to like the line. I thought it was cheesy and corny. Gunther needs a mouthpiece. What was your thoughts on Gunther?
As far as Gunther is concerned, they gotta get Gunther. They gotta bring Kaiser back on TV with him.
Yep.
They either gotta bring Kaiser back on TV, or they gotta let him cross the line and do some more risky heel business. Just saying, I respect your wrestling, but you're not as good as me. Is it gonna sells tickets? All right. You might be nice in the ring. We might love watching your matches, but what's gonna make us want to get to your match? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta put the butts in the seats to enjoy your match. Same thing with kind of say for AEW, where AEW pay-per-view might have some great matches when they're not giving each other AIDS. But,
hey, hold on, we'll talk about that in a minute.
It might be a great match, but guess what? You gotta get butts in the seats to enjoy the match.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And the reason I looked a little confused, looking off to the side, is because there's some segment going on with Roxanne and Tam Paxley backstage, and I don't know. You gotta watch it. But before that, Jordan Gracie was getting jumped by Rosemary and Wendy
Rosemary,
Chu. And Wendy Chu. They're
Mm.
chilling and I mean, I don't know if you want to spoil who answered the open challenge,
It's
but
cool. I'll
your
forget.
girl Sol Ruka answered the open challenge.
Okay.
So you're looking forward to a Sol Ruka versus Jordan Grace match.
Okay. That's a teaser for a banger of a match. I'm sure. Um, we'll move forward. Going through kind of. I mean, you mentioned it with Punk and McIntyre and Hell in a Cell. That's going to be a banger for Bad Blood. Um, the tease with Wade. Were you a Wade Barrett fan when he was able to wrestle?
I mean, I watched Wade Barrett. Was I necessarily a Wade Barrett fan? No, because he was usually a heel. So I wasn't really
Okay.
Wade. You know, I was more of a face kid growing up. You know, I was more of a face guy.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so and Wade Barrett, you know, outside being on the Nexus, which I hated the Nexus because I was a kid at that time. And then after that, he was kind of just like, all he would do is, I got some bad news
Right.
bullshit. So I mean, you know,
Well, now.
he can wrestle in the ring, but he's usually wrestling guys I liked. So,
Right. So, like my introduction to Wade Barrett, I'll be honest, I didn't watch. I mean, I've gone over this. I don't think I started watching until like 2014, but I had WWE 2012. I think it was one with Randy Orton on the cover.
mhm.
And that's how I knew the roster. And I had no idea who these people were. I wasn't watching the show. And so Wade Barrett and Ziggler were my favorites to play with. I don't know why. I mean, they were mid. They get the ass kicked if you put them against any of the good people. But those were some of my favorites. I think a lot of it had to do with the music. But yeah, Wade Barrett's one of my favorites. And if we got Barrett back in, I know they've been talking about him and Corey potentially wrestling again. That'd be interesting. Now they're teasing it. Does he get involved at at Bad Blood? That's a potential thing to watch out for. This story just everyone talks about. And we'll talk about AEW here in a minute. But everyone, James included, wants to talk about how Swerve and Adam Page are the greatest story of the year. And meanwhile, we got the cinema cooking known as Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. They're doing essentially the same storyline for the most part, like blood feud type shit. But this Hell in a Cell match, it's going to be gruesome, but it's not going to like have people like complaining about like someone almost dying. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to get your thoughts on it. Overall, you said the Fatal 4-Way, Jey Uso won, which surprised me. I didn't think he would win this. I thought it would be one of the Europeans.
Same.
And so we're gonna get Jay versus Braun Breaker, which is a decent match. I'm kind of scared with it because Braun has a move set, but it's still sort of limited because it doesn't have to be all that, because their main selling point of him is he can hit that spear at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then so Jey Uso, it's also a spear versus spear match type thing. I don't know. Jay's moveset's weak, and so I don't quite know how this will fit. The styles feel like they'll clash a little bit.
I mean, I can tell you the finish of the match right now.
Mm.
The finish is going to be Jey Uso going for a Uso splash and getting speared out the air for a 1, 2, 3.
Look, if this happens,
Mark my words.
if this happens, we're gonna mark it about a month before the PLE hits. Right, WAVYD predicted it. If this shit happens, Triple H is hire my man. He got your brain in his head. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Raw was pretty mid. I mean, your favorite team was on the PFC. And yeah, I mean, I don't remember what they did because I kind of stopped paying attention whenever I see that tag team. But we had a tag team women's title match that went way too long.
Well, I mean, if you want to know what they did, they faced Lyra, Zelina, and Natalia in a 6-person tag team match.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. The epic disappointment known as Natalia showed up.
That we all knew was going to be there.
Right. But yeah, overall, this episode overall was okay. With it being like the season premiere and then making WWE Week feel kind of important. It feels like they've done all the big surprises on NXT and SmackDown. They didn't really give much of anything to Raw, so it was kind of disappointing in that aspect. But I do want to move into this AEW talk real quick. As we've been alluding to, Swerve Strickland took a full-on needle syringe through the lip. They done ripped his grill out. They smashed him with a chair. Bryan Danielson about died from suffocation from Jon Moxley. While we're also talking about it, cinder blocks were involved, and I don't know if it was Hangman or Swerve that got pile drived on it, if not both of them.
I know Swerve got power bombed onto it.
Yeah, this stupid ass shit. I'm gonna go off on Friday, so I don't want to like blow that lead here. I just want to hear what you got to say about it.
Not gonna lie, the cinder block one actually looked kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the cinder block power bomb spot. As far as the syringe to the mouth, I'm assuming until they announce it on Wednesday or not, I'm assuming that he dosed him with like tranquilizer or some numbing stuff, and then he hit him with a headshot. Almost like putting like a horse down or something like that, or putting the animal out of his misery. I think he put some numbing stuff and hit him with the head, and maybe that way he wouldn't move. I don't know, but I understand how you end a steel cage match with a ref stoppage. It's saying we hated when Seth Rollins and the Fiend Hell in a Cell ended in a ref stoppage, but we're gonna praise this match for ending in a ref stoppage.
Right, especially when it's unsanctioned, so there's no rules. So technically, the ref is only there to count 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
So,
and also, have we learned nothing from unprotected chair shots to the head over the course of that decade, 2 decades?
It's one of those things where, like, the typical thing AEW fans like to say is, well, if you've never been in the ring, you can't complain about it. Well, we got people who've been in the ring. Ricky Morton was in the ring for 30. He's still in the ring at his fucking old-ass age from the Rock and Roll Express, who went out there and said, stop doing unprotected chair shots. Like, people in the business don't want this to happen, and you just make it look like a mud show. And yeah, I got a lot more to say on Friday, but I just wanted to get some of your thoughts on it.
Corey Graves told y'all last time y'all did it that you guys didn't need to do it. Well, there
we go. Let's get you out of here. All right. Continue. You said something about Corey Graves? Oh, Jesus. There we go. Now we got to fix these technical shit.
You know what I'm saying?
You were saying something about Corey Graves.
Yeah, Corey Graves told y'all last time when Jack Perry was handcuffed to the cage, and y'all hit him with a unprotected chair shot, and then y'all do it again a month later. And then you guys talk about like the chairs gimmicked, like the screws were serrated or shredded or whatever. That way it would break on impact. Well, guess what? You still gotta make a crazy impact for those screws to break off.
Bro, that motherfucker could be heard from the top of the fucking stadium.
Exactly. It's one thing to have a table that is like weakened to break, like when you step on it, but to hear the contact of the chair to the head, you know what I'm saying? Like you can still have the same sound in the chair not break,
right?
And it's still the same impact. You literally I don't know. And then you got wrestlers like Mick Foley who tell you that all this stuff he did was stupid. You know what I'm saying? and that if he can go back and do it again, he probably wouldn't do half the shit he did.
Right.
Like you got wrestlers telling you, like you literally have Chris Benoit as a prime example of why you don't do all this like unnecessary headshots.
Mm.
Is all your CTE mixed in with, guess what? These wrestlers nowadays, they still use steroids. Okay,
Mm.
not it's not like we're all drinking protein shakes and having creatine and getting pumps at the gym. A lot of
Right.
these wrestlers still do steroids.
Mm.
So guess what? It's going to take AEW to have a Chris Benoit situation before they make changes at this point.
Mm.
And they try to come up with a safe work environment where you're
Right.
doing unprotected hair shots in
Well,
2024.
they also like to say hilarious because I was watching back a little bit of it, and I forgot which announcer was saying AEW is the best medical crew while Danielson has just been strangled. They put on an oxygen mask but never took the bag off his head.
To put the oxygen mask over the bag?
Yeah, fucking idiots. I just it's so hard not to talk shit about these people when they give us shit to talk about. But we will move to questions from Discord now. And we only got one from B Master. That's because Kara's is in the other Discord that I wanted to talk about. So Kara asked, shit, now I gotta find it. Something along the lines of, would we be okay with a face tag teaming with a heel to take on like the Wyatt Six or something like that? So what are your thoughts on that?
So, my answer, if it makes sense in the story, what I'm saying? Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I'm saying? So, how Damian Priest and Jey Uso had their issues for a while. Now, technically they're both faces now. But guess what? They're teaming up to face the Judgment Day to screw them both over.
Right.
It's almost gonna be like, say, if it's probably too early to do this story, but say if the White Six go after Otis and Tozawa next and Maxine,
right,
and then we get Chad Gable and Otis reuniting to face the White Six. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So something like that. I mean, as long as the story is good, we can get behind it. You know what I'm saying? Good writing I'll get behind it.
Right. Yeah, so my answer is sort of, it just depends on motivation. So I don't necessarily care if you're a good guy or a bad guy. I just want to know why you're doing what you're doing. And so if it's Cody Rhodes, I want to finish the story because my dad never could. Okay, then what now? Now that you did it, Cody? That's why I can't get behind Cody Rhodes now, because there's no motivation for him outside of really defeating the Bloodline, which we've already seen him do. It's just, that whole story is just kind of, and I have opinions on that. But I just, what is the person's motivation? So, in a way, could Jey Uso tag team with the new Bloodline because Roman, he's still mad at Roman. That's a decent motivation. You could write a story where a good guy tags with the bad guys. I just like you said, I think it just depends on what the story is, how it's told, and doesn't make sense. And so I'm fine with it. You gotta book it right. B Master asked us, should they being WWE do a superstar shakeup if they are already allowing the superstars to switch shows at any time? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm honestly, if you look at it, like the superstars aren't really going back and forth all that much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The main example is the tag team division, which is already explained because the tag team titles go between both shows. So of course you're gonna have some tag teams who go over to either jump the tag team on the other show or they're gonna sit down and watch the match or something. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of going with it. The Randy Orton thing was explained that he got the okay from Triple H, and they played it into the story. when Austin Theory and Grayson Waller came to SmackDown after Mania. Was it
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown after Mania?
I
Or
think
no,
it was after.
Backlash?
I think it's after
No,
Backlash.
SummerSlam. After SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It was SmackDown after SummerSlam. Theory and Waller showed up on Raw to
Right.
get their get back. Well, guess
Right.
what? Michael Cole explained on commentary that Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce came to an agreement, and they both thought it would be a good idea for them to come on the show to
Yeah.
get the rematch, get their get back on the Miz and R-Truth. So, and then you get the guys who bounce back and forth between main roster and NXT. Well, guess what? That's why NXT is looked at as half brand, half developmental. It's for wrestlers to go down there and work a gimmick, work a new angle, or go have matches with younger talent to kind of get them over, and to kind of see what the younger talent like kind of lined up against, or
Right.
stay up against. So there's not too much like cross brand stuff going on to the point where I feel like we need to combine shows. I feel like having separate shows is best because, in my point of view, I think that gives more wrestlers a time to shine, and like
Right.
you know where to go to find that wrestler that you want to
Absolutely.
watch. Because
Yeah,
if we go back to having both brands are on the same shows, everybody's just one brand.
Right.
Well, guess what? You're gonna go back to when Raw was the main show and SmackDown showed replays and Sin Cara versus Justin Gabriel. Guess what? That's what you're gonna get.
Hey, don't hate on Justin Gabriel.
Well, guess what? You're gonna get matches of
you're right. You're right.
Karrion Kross versus
Omos.
Karrion Kross versus Tozawa on SmackDown while they show you 13 replays of the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm 100% behind having a brand split. For multiple different reasons. The main one being, like you just said, okay, my favorite wrestler is Cody Rhodes. What show is he on? I know for certain I'm going to watch that show, and he's going to be on every single week. Whereas, I hate to go back to AEW, but they don't have a separate roster. And so, the Young Bucks are on every show because they run the whole company. But, if I like Wheeler Yuta might be on Dynamite one week, and we won't see him again on Dynamite for a month, 2 months. But he's on Collision, and I don't watch Collision, right? And so having having the two brands with their own separate roster, they've done a decent job whenever someone had the cross brand to explain it. The only one that I'm not a big fan of was Kaiser answering LA Knight's open challenge, but it is explainable because it is an open challenge. Technically, anyone in the locker room can answer it.
And they were in Germany.
And it was in Germany. So, I mean, it makes sense. But a lot of it has been explained. It's not like they sort of said, oh, screw the draft. I do think they need to redraft. I think these rosters the way they are now are kind of stale.
Yeah.
But because he does go on, like, why not move Cody to Raw to give him fresh competition? Absolutely. And I think we're maybe going down that way to where I feel like maybe we do a roster redraft going into Netflix. And I think the bigger stars are going to Netflix. Roman, Cody, and SmackDown's going to be left with Gunther, LA Knight, stuff like that. That's just how I feel. That's what I think they're going to do. Just because, I mean, Netflix is paying a shit ton of money. They're going to want return on investment. So that's where I stand on that. And then I was going to do Tuesday, because it was supposed to be the finals, but I forgot to post the post last week. So we didn't get a vote. So I'll post the semifinals this week. I'll make sure I do it. And then we'll finish next week.
Also, did we both say the same person?
I think we did. Technically, I could run the finals now, but I'll give the Discord a chance to vote.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a bonus round. me and WeTooDeep will both know our baddest women's wrestler. All right.
Okay.
But the only caveat is they could not have been on TV this past week.
Okay.
So they got to be signed to WWE, at any level, and they could have not appeared on live TV this week.
By this week, from like last Tuesday to this Tuesday
Well, last Wednesday to
to today.
Okay, no, sorry. Last Tuesday, because you didn't watch NXT yet. So from last NXT until Raw last night.
Until Raw last night. Okay.
So NXT last week, SmackDown, and Raw.
Oh, perfect. Does it have to be a wrestler, or?
Yes, you can't pick Samantha Irving.
Damn, I was gonna pick Kathy Kelly because she wasn't on TV yesterday. But shit, I don't know who hasn't been on. Because I don't watch Smackdown no more because it's boring as shit. Bad is not on TV. Well, Natty fucking ends that because she was on Monday. You know what? You mentioned her. She hasn't been on TV in a while. You drafted her. I'm gonna say Raquel Rodriguez / Gonzalez. She's technically signed. She's
yes, sir.
I think she's on her way back, from what I heard.
So, I got you with one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Cora Jade.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
yeah,
Alexa Bliss.
Gigi. Look, I saw
Gigi
some pictures.
Dolan.
I saw some pictures of Gigi. I feel what you're saying about her now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shotzi.
Yeah.
Check the Insta. She changed her hair.
Shit. I have a special segment. We're gonna start doing this from now on. I know we're a wrestling show, but we also are I would say food connoisseurs here. We're gonna call this segment food for thought. Is going to be the name of this segment. We're going to end each Tuesday with a food-related question because Witter stopped supplying them. So I'll start bringing them. So this is the classic question that
slacking Witters.
everyone likes to argue this. This is a classic question. Are boneless wings actually wings?
No.
Are they just adult chicken nuggets?
No. The answer is no.
I agree. What's your reasoning?
So a chicken wing, all right? You know what I'm saying? A chicken wing. We don't know what see. If they gotta call it traditional chicken wing, traditional. Right. Okay, that means you didn't put your little hippie hipster like twist on it. Okay, right. So a boneless chicken wing is a fucking chicken nugget, bro. What are we talking about? It's a fucking chicken nugget. Right. Stop trying to get fancy, okay? For all y'all, I'll get my fingers dirty. Guess what? Be a fucking man. Be an adult, okay? You can be a woman too. Be a fucking adult, all right, and eat your fucking chicken wings with a wing in it, okay?
Be a savage. Like, it's not that hard to put in your mouth and get the meat off of it. It's not that hard.
No howdy at all. I was trying to say it
in a way that wasn't going to be no Diddy over here, but yeah, that's that. We'll get some better ones. We'll have some food for thought questions.
Ooh, I got a great name.
Oh boy.
Big back breakdown.
Big back breakdown. Okay. I like it.
Saying? You gotta break down the food concept. You gotta break down something that a little, maybe a little food combination that you like.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Break it down.
I like it. We'll use that as the name for that segment. But that going forward, if y'all have food questions like that you want us to talk about, let us know. But this has been another episode of the Slap and Meat Wrestling Podcast. I'm WeTooDeep. That's WAVYD.
You gotta promote your next episode. The big 200.
Oh, you're right. See,
the big 200.
The big 200 episodes on Friday. It's a big one. It is episode 200. We're gonna be going out on. I'll be ranting on Gunther. I don't ever rant on people that I like, but Gunther, I care about you. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk a little bit more about AEW and their madness that happened. What else are we talking about on that one? We're gonna have another star of the week that I've been doing. I gave it to Maxine last Friday. I got a couple here. I got a star of the week this week that's gonna surprise some of y'all. Then Thunder Rosa made some comments, and that's gonna be my react to it because she fucking sounded like a fucking idiot. But we're gonna talk about that one. So tune in Friday. We gonna go all in on All Out.
Wrestling baddies and tasties. Tune in.
Absolutely. But until then, I'll see you Friday. WAVYD will be back next Tuesday. We'll see y'all then.
Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. 'Cause lately I